Just a second, guys. I'm just getting some windows set up here. Okay. I think we're good now. Okay, I got enough. I think I got enough crap up on the screen. So let's start with adding an ad strip to a mod. First thing, in your mods folder, of course you have your zipped mods, and then to work in that mod you have to unzip it. So you're going to need Giants Editor, you're going to need a zip compression software, so either WinZip or WinRAR. You're going to need something to unzip, decompress that program. So I've got 4 that I've been working in. We've got the Brent cart, the John Deere with the Mar grain extension. So we'll just pull that up. Take the picture off. Is it still up? Oh shit. Okay. I must hit the wrong button. There we go. Forgot to do that. The newest GE is 7.1? 7.02. Oh, it is 7.1.0. I already have it. I don't know why it's defaulting to that one. So it's 7.1.0 is the newest one. So, okay, I've got the 9770 pulled up here. So we'll go ahead and open it, and then there's all the Giants editors that I have. I need to get rid of them, but if you ever go back in work in Farm Sim 13, you kind of need the older versions. 15, as far as I know, 7.1 will work with Farm Sim 15 mods. I don't know of any confliction. We'll go ahead and open 7.1, and it'll always start you behind. This is your main camera view from your mod. So if you move around in here and save it, you've just effectively changed your camera view of your mod. So what you always want to do is you want to go view, camera. See, this is camera 1. Then you have your indoor camera. There's additional cameras on this mod, but I only use 2 of them. And then this is, generally there'll be an edit camera at the bottom, or if there isn't, then you need to create a camera. And what that'll do, now there'll be 3 at the bottom that say camera. So there's 3 of them there now. So it'll just give you a new camera, and then from there it's Alt and left mouse button to turn, middle mouse button to side, left mouse button to turn, middle mouse side to side, scroll the middle mouse to zoom in and out. Now the speed at which you scroll can be adjusted with plus and minus. You can slow down your speed by holding down the minus button. I think the window is, yeah, there it is. So there's the nav's, oh dang it, there's the nav speed at the bottom, 38. And then if you just hold the I don't know why it's not changing. Huh. Oh, what am I doing here? Okay. Yeah, bear with me. I don't know what I got. Oh, I got this thing way oversized. So the console we want to get rid of. So view, or window, console. Get rid of that. There we go. Click on the screen and then minus and plus. So you can turn your nav speed way down, or if it's too slow for you, you hit the plus and the nav speed will go up. If you're doing maps, you're going to want the nav speed set pretty high to get around the map, and then once you get where you want to be, you'll want to slow the speed down. So on the side of this combine, I just used an ad strip with this Dakota farm equipment. Window is way too big. So here's the scale fix for rescaling. The combine is going to be underneath this scale fix where I rescaled the combine down. These RDR, those are the ad strips right there. So if I wanted to export those to use in another mod, what I can do is highlight both of them, and I just use the shift key. So I click on one, hit shift, hold it, and then click another one. If there was something up here that I wanted to take with it as well, I would hit control, and then you can individually pick objects throughout your scene graph. So just to take just the ad strips, what we want to do is file, export selection with files. And why you want to do export selection with files is it's going to take this data with it. It's going to take the diffuse texture and the specular texture with the ad strip. So you want to do export selection with files. We want to go to that mods folder. I didn't put any ad strip on the 2388, so we'll just go into that folder and we'll just go ahead and drop it in here, and we'll go add strip. That's what we'll call it. So there'll be an i3D file in this case folder that we can then import into our case. So we'll hit save. Yes. And so basically we're done with this John Deere for borrow when parts. So we can close it. We don't want to save it. Go back to mods. Go into our 2388. There's the ad strip that we just pulled in. And we'll open the 2388. There's the 2388. We want to hit view. Once again, you don't want to stay in the outdoor camera. You want to get in the habit of going to the edit camera. See, you notice there's no like light in this scene. You can create light right there. That basically turns the light on in i3D, so you can see things a little better. Then as far as importing that ad strip, we can go File, Import. We're in the 2388 mods folder. Double click ad strip. There they are. So there's the RDR. Now, if you just left them like this, they would not be attached to the combine. They would load with the combine, but they would fall through the map because they are just a separate object and they're not attached to the combine object. So what we need to do is we have to take these two, cut and paste them into the combine. So then you have the main body, which is right here, and it's got a lot of different decals already on it, like the axial flow I put on, the warning decals I just used ad strips, the 2588 down the side is an ad strip. So what we'll do is we'll just cut and paste the new ad strips under the main body. So we'll take these and we'll edit, cut, go to the main body, edit, paste. So now they are attached to the main body. So wherever the main body goes, those ad strips will go with it. Okay? So we'll take one and we'll drag it down here. And we'll just push it over. We're just moving them using the XY arrows. Now if you notice that the origin, this is what you would call the origin, the 3 arrows. The origin is not exactly on the ad strip itself, so that's why when you rotate it, it's not rotating it centrally to the ad strip, but that's just the way that that ad strip was built. So we want to get it just as close as you can. It don't have to be perfect, because it will, you probably won't notice if it was hovering off the edge of the combine a little bit. You will not notice it. You can get in real close and look, and it's right on the surface. Now you can adjust the scale of this ad strip by going over here to your attributes section, and you can adjust the scale right here. So if you wanted to make it shorter, oh, my number lock was off, and you can just adjust it that way, like that. So you can make it a 0.8 on the Y scale. The X scale is always going to be side to side, or the width of something. Y is your height, and 7 is your depth. So if I wanted to make this longer or shorter, I would change the Z scale. Now when you go in, now this is just some additional information, but when you go into Blender, Y and Z are opposite of each other. So if you take a mod object and you take it into Blender, Y and Z axis are flipped, and so then when it comes out of Blender, those axes are going to be off. So then you have to either adjust that before leaving Blender, or you have to adjust it once you get to Giants Editor, which can be a real pain. It's just something to think of if you ever want to dabble in creating or taking stuff into Blender to edit. That is something to keep in mind. So that ad strip is placed where we want it. I like the scale of 0.8, and I'll show you down here. See, it brought the diffuse texture with it, and it brought the specular. So if we click on these 3 little dots, it'll give us where this is located in the mod, and it is FarmSim -mods FarmSim, and it's not showing me the whole address, but we might be able to see it if we just hover. If you just hover on that, you can see that it's in the 2388 folder, texturas, and rdtrucking.dds. So if you wanted to change this to your emblem, you would go to texturas. That's where it put it. And RD trucking. So that is where it's pulling that diffuse texture from. So if we click on that, there it is. Now you will need paint.net or Paint, or what's that other one? GIMP. That's a good one to have. There's different free programs out there for editing this kind of stuff. But if you wanted to change this, you could just select this. Whoops, or you can hit select all, edit, select all, and delete, and you can put whatever you want in there. If you just wanted to make your own let's see, 4J, we'll call it 4 aces custom harvesting, and then you can adjust, you know, your fonts. Go in and change that. You put the placement. That's where if you can find something already made out on the internet, that's kind of handy, where you can just copy paste it. Or you know, you're gonna have to build your own in Paint, and I'm not really liking the spacing on that. But it's whatever you put on here is going to have to fit inside this box, because this is the add strip diffuse that goes with that add strip. So it'll have to fit in this box. You can adjust size in Giants Editor, but you can't really do anything about it in here. So let's see. Maybe I can import an image. It's probably that font that's doing it. Okay, and do this, and we'll hit edit, cut, edit, paste. Then we can adjust the size this way. It kind of distorts it a little bit, but so then we can go edit, copy, edit, paste, and we'll make change the color. Where'd our color bucket go? I'm not really liking that at all. But just for shits and giggles, for now, I'll just save this file. Save. So that's what this new file is going to be. If you want to make it more elaborate, you sure can. But what you can do to see it come into the i3D is you come up here while this is selected, and you can reload that texture. So that will just reload this texture that we're selected on. So there's 4 aces custom harvesting, which I just plugged in there. I can go back to, what's nice about paint.net is it has quite a memory as to what you were doing. So if you mess up, you can go back right there, and we can just hit file, save it again, and then with that selected we can hit this again. It'll go back to Dakota because now it went out and it got that file again. Okay, that's what it's doing, is it's just refreshing that that texture. Okay, let me check the chat here real quick. See, I have an error when I open the mod in GE, failed to compile shader. And you're opening with 7.1 and it's a 15 mod. Yeah, it Geez, I didn't think there would be any problems with that, but there might be. It might not like 7.1. Let me see here. I've got my 15 mods folder up here. I'll just open WinZip. Unzip it here real quick. I don't even know what that is. Dodge 1 ton something. So open this up and open this. Try to open it with 7. It opened it. Oh. You're unzipping it. Your folder's unzipped when you tried to open it. It could be the mod itself. I'd try it on a different mod. Because I thought 7.1 would work backward compatible to different Farm Sim years. Oh, I missed a chat here. Question: Michigan Farm Power says, "How did you come up with Misfit Toyz?" I don't know. I was like that show. I always looked forward to watching it at Christmas time. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer show they always play. It's one with Hermie the elf, and how he didn't want to make toys. He wanted to be a dentist, and I don't know. Just Misfit Toyz sounded good to me. And I think because when I first started modding, and I would share my work to some of the modding websites, some of the criticism that you would get in the comments, you know, it's like I was still learning. And so, yeah, maybe the damn wheels weren't the perfect texture, or, you know, I didn't know all the ins and outs of modding. And so you get this harsh criticism, and I just felt like a modder in the land of Misfit Toys, because there is nowhere to learn how to do this other than trial and error. And I guess I felt like Hermie, if that makes sense. You know, because there's like a young modder, I think his name's Lambo. I think it's Lambo, and you know, he tries. But, you know, you read some of the comments on his mods, and it's like, God damn, guys, the kid's learning. You know, leave him alone. At least he's trying. You know, it does it to all my mods. Oh shit! I wonder what the hell. Yeah, I've never had that problem. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that one. Failed to compile shader. Huh. And 7.1 is the most recent version as far as I know. Well, that's messed up. Yeah, because okay, that one worked. Let's see, delete. Oh, you got it to work in 6.0? Okay, well then, geez, 6.0, that goes back to like Farm Sim 13. I didn't have Farm Sim 13 on this computer. It was on my $600 Walmart computer, and it died. So let's I'll quick finish this here. Oh, this origin is way off from the ad strip. Go ahead and put in 0.8. I guess it was just above that line, and I have to rotate it a hair, pull it back out, rotate it a hair, pull it back out. So roughly in the same spot as the other one on the other side. Okay, so then you just hit save, and before you leave, you always want to make sure you're not in that outdoor camera. If you are, you want to fix that by going behind the mod and placing it about where you want the outdoor camera at, because that's, if you moved that outdoor camera while moving around in here, once you go in game, it just becomes so unplayable. So let's see, go ahead and get rid of the light and then hit save, and then this would be ready to go back into a zip and then place it in the mods folder. So we got the mods. It's 2388. And I'm having problems with the textures on the fan, so that's kind of what's hanging up this mod from being released. WinZip. Zip it back up. And I use WinZip myself. That's what I have. So in this is where it placed it. So then what I do is I go cut, and I go to mods folder, and I paste it, and it replaces it. Yeah, continue. Oh, sometimes it doesn't like me doing that. Try again. Nope. Okay, we'll fix this. We'll go in here and we'll copy it. Copy mods. Paste. Yep. For some reason it, oh, you kidding me? Oh, it's opening another file. That's why. Now it did it. Paste. There, it did it. Now it updated it to today's version. Okay. Next project. Let's see. We will go to, let's say you have a toolbox in a pickup, and you want to place that in another pickup. Why am I not finding it? I should have went in earlier and found the mod. Well, I'll be damned. No, I can't find it. Maybe just a second. Sorry, guys. Okay, here we go. Ford F-250. This is my conversion. So if we unzip this, WinZip, extract a folder. Okay, we'll turn on some lights. So we'll create some light. I'll go to edit camera view. we have a toolbox and a fuel tank, and say we really like this toolbox. We want to go down here in the scene graph under the objects, and the toolbox is listed under this Ford F-350. We also have license plates. Got a couple ad strips. There's a toolbox. There's the fuel tank and a gas station trigger. So we could take the fuel tank and the toolbox and the trigger so that you can actually refuel off of. And what the gas station trigger is a type of rigid body. It has to be rigid, and then it's kinematic, collision, trigger, and it has to have this collision mask, and this is for fuel, refuel. Fuel tank, toolbox, and gas station trigger. Oh, so toolbox, fuel tank, yeah, okay. So what we're going to do is file, export selection with files. We'll go to mods, and we will just drop it in here by itself as toolbox, and it'll just be in the mods folder by itself for the time being. We'll close that out, go in our mods folder, oh, it must have put it down at the bottom or somewhere. I'm looking for an i3D. Well, it brought the textures and it brought that. So let's see, date modified. There's our toolbox right there. So there's our toolbox i3D, and you'll need the shapes file as well. Just trying to remember what pickup I needed a toolbox in. So let me go back to this one. Was it Chevy 3/4 ton? We'll look in the store picture, see what it looks like. No, because that was a flatbed, so it wasn't that one. That one already had a toolbox. That one didn't. Okay. Want to unzip it. Okay, there's our Chevy C10. And what we want to do, we'll go back to this mods, and being we just placed it in here, we want to export it from this location into the C10 so that it takes it to its new home and takes all the file paths with it. Brad's got a question. How do I make a combine heavier or a header lighter so the rear end doesn't lift off the ground when pick it up? Is that all XML? No, it's actually an i3D. It can, you can adjust it a little bit in the XML as far as center of gravity, but you can adjust weight after. I'll show you the weight on this Chevy, which it'll be the same thing. With this main group here, this is your main object. Now how you add weight to this, density, is under the rigid body, under attributes. Open this up further. You see right now this pickup has a mass of 5.214. Now it's been explained to me that that mass is exactly tons, or English tons, or so 5 tons. The density is what you adjust to increase this. So if we wanted to increase this, we would go 0.4, we would go 0.6. Now to make it see a change here, you want to click on something else in the scene graph and then click back and then hit the rigid body, and now that mass has increased to 7.4 tons. And then from that, you want to make sure that you don't change any of the collision mass, you don't want to change the dynamic, you don't want to change any of this. The only thing you want to change is just the density, and that will change the weight of that object. Now in a combine, it depends how heavy you want it to be. And then I'll quick pull up Notepad++ here where I have XMLs open. And let's see, we have a John Deere 9770 XML right here, and we'll go down to the bottom here in the components, in the components section of your XML. I'll try to make this as big as possible. You'll have component 1. Now on this combine that I have, 9770, I have the rear axle a separate object from the main body of the combine, so that the rear axle will pivot. And so that's how you get that realistic pivoting, is having the axle a separate object, so that it has a pivot point, or a attacher index right here. Okay, so the joint, you have an attacher joint for component 1 and component 2, and that's what this line is saying, is that component 1, which is 0, and component 2, which is 1, and what those are referring to, I'll explain real quick. Well, shit, this ain't the John Deere, but this is component 0, because when you go to this, index path is 0. If I had a rear axle, like on that combine, there'd be another box down here, and it would be component 1, which is actually component 2, because if we click on that, see, that is component 1 in this pickup. But in that combine, component 1 and 2 are the 0 index object and the 1 index object, and that's what that's referring to. And then the index for the joint is located at 0/45. Actually, I should just pull up that combine, because I'm just going to confuse the shit out of you guys. So there's component 1 and there's component 2. And I actually needed to adjust the weight of my axle on this because it was too light. But that index is, it said it was 00/45 for the index. Yep, 00/45. Get too many windows open here. So if we go 00, and that's going to be down this string of things, because that's 00, and then /45 is going to be down here. Transform, transform, transform. Axle joint right there. So if we go view, camera, edit camera, view, camera. So there is the joint for the axle to pivot off of. So it has a side to side, up and down rotation point. Okay, so I think I've explained that to death. So component 1, center of mass is 0x, 0.75y, and 0.2, negative 0.2 on the z. These are axis or axis points in the 3D world. X-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. So if we were to use one of these empty transform groups, because this is not being used, 0044, as far as I know. No, it is not. So if we placed it at 0.75 and minus 0.2, right? Yes, that is our center of mass origin for that combine. Because there's the 0, 0, 0. Here's where it's so the weight of the combine is important, but where the center of mass is located is also important. Because if we were to put this center of mass, and this origin really isn't the center of mass, what you put in here is. I'm just using this as so we can see where the center of mass is in relation to the object. So if we put it like this, if we had a number in our center of mass like this, plus 2.287, that's going to be way front heavy, and the butt end is going to pick up all the time. So center of mass would be about right there, center of the combine. Now as far as the axle goes, 0, 0, 0, and that's not quite right either, because for this, it would actually be those numbers, 0.9 and minus 1.75. So that is probably what's causing the problem I have with that 9770 with the rear axle. So we want 0.9 in the Y and 1.75 negative 1.75 for the Z. So we'll hit save on that 9770. As far as now I got that selected, I'm going to check that rigid body. Yeah, 2.5 tons for an axle. I mean, that ought to be heavy enough, so I would think. So it was probably the center of mass causing my problem. And we got 18 tons, 18.8 tons for the main body, which I guess that's probably a little heavy for a combine, but not sure. I'm not sure what a 9770 weighs. So, guys, Cyber Redneck says hi. How's it going? Pretty good. Doing a little tutorial, streaming tutorial. Brad's lost. I'm sorry, man. I can slow down. Do I need to go through it again? It is a little I might take for granted that somebody doesn't understand what I'm talking about half the time. 'Cause I've been doing this for a few years, and it's So if we go back to that Chevy C10, you can adjust the weight of the mod by hitting the parent group or transform group. Most people will have a transform group here and not an actual object, but this is an object. So rigid body, there's going to be your mass, and how you adjust that is with your density number. You can raise or increase it. Okay, Brad replied, "It's not you, I'm just trying to get the mass right on the 9240 case combine." Oh, okay. Yeah, I would if the back end is too, if it always tries to pick up, you can move that center of mass, or yeah, in the XML. That's what I would actually try first, because this way you're not really messing with the i3D, and it's a simple just number fix. If you have Notepad++, which is a free program, you go down to your components. Now, I don't know if that 9240 has 2 components or if it's just one. It's probably just one. But if you change that center of mass, that last number is your Z axis. And if you make that a negative number, that's going to move that weight backwards. So it's going to take weight and push it to the rear of the combine. So if you went in there and put a negative 0.5, that would probably solve your problem. And it, 0.5 might not be enough, but it'd be a place to start and to test. So you put in a negative 0.5, zip it up, put it back in the game, test it. If it works for you, great. If it needs a little more, you can move it back a little further. XML wrench, oh, right on. Yeah, I haven't tried that one. And if it's 2 components in that 9240 and both of them are set at 000 on both of them, then that's definitely your problem. Because if you look at this, what the settings are for this 9770 to be centered, what axis am I looking for? Z axis. Oops. So let's see. Back to the toolbox real quick. Let's see, we'll go this, and we'll go to the top, and we'll open that toolbox. Yeah. So there's the toolbox and fuel tank and everything. So we want to just highlight everything, and we want to file, export selection with files, and we want to take it into that C10, and we want to drop it in there as toolbox. Parent directory, yes. So there's our fuel trigger, our gas station trigger, our toolbox, and our fuel tank. So we're done with that. We can probably just delete those. Yes. Back to this, and then cars and textures. That textures is going to be the toolbox stuff. And that, and we'll get rid of those. Yes. So let me go back into this C10, because now it has been imported into, it's been exported from the mods folder into the Chevy C10, and here we have the toolbox i3D, and we should have those texture files that have been dropped in here as well. So now we can go file, import toolbox, and it should show up with a texture, and it's a little bit off, but there, once again, you can't drop objects just into the scene file. You got to paste them under the main object. So we'll take these and we'll edit, cut, and edit, paste. We'll drop it in at the very bottom so that doesn't disrupt any light nodes. It doesn't disrupt any attacher joints. It's just the very bottom. So we could have made a transform group. We could have done that. Create transform group. Take these three. Edit. Cut. Edit. Paste. Then that. What that does is it allows you to just grab the entire group all together and move it. So then I don't have to move them individually. I can move them as a whole. So then I can just take the transform group, hit edit, cut, drop it in under the top of the Chevy, edit, paste. It's wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And now we just have to get it out of the cab. So right there. Let's turn on a light in this thing. As far as X width scale, looks pretty decent. Probably need to go up a little bit. That'll work. Looks like our hose is kind of going through the bed of the truck, so we can just get a hold of some. And sometimes with objects, you can just click on them and select them that way. We got to come quite a ways out to get that out. So what we'll do is we will rotate it. Huh. There we go. So that'll work. So there's our toolbox fuel tank in the Chevy C10. And I bet we messed up and stayed on the outdoor camera. Oh no. So what do we do to fix that? That's it. That's all you got to do. Just get behind the mod and worry about what you want to be and hit save. And then from then on, always make sure you move to the edit camera before you move around. Okay, I bet I probably missed some chat. Here we go. It has a component. It says the center of mass is 0.95 and negative 0.2. Oh, it already does, huh? I would change that negative 0.2 to a negative 0.7, because that'll move at 0.5 and then take it into the game and then see what it does. 0.95 might be, that should be alright. I mean, as far as like on this pickup, let's go view, camera, edit camera. So like a attacher joint, see its position is 0.9, so I mean that's like the bed of the pickup as far as height. So that would be your height on that center of mass of 0.95. And then yeah, that's probably not a bad height. 0, of course, is where you want it for left to right. That's the first number, your X. So then we have the light, get rid of that. And we can hit save because we're in the edit camera now. If we go back to the outdoor camera, view the indoor camera, view edit camera. So let's save again because I can't remember if I did or not. And as far as the toolbox, being as the toolbox has been imported into the Chevy, you don't need them, but they don't take up that much space anyway. So we can go ahead and zip that back up. And copy, go to mods, paste, and we'll replace it. So now the Chevy C10 now should have a toolbox and a fuel tank and a fuel trigger. So you can fuel up your equipments around the map. Okay. Does anybody have any specific? I know Brad is working on a combine that is the ass end is kind of like lifting off the ground. Let's see what his description was. Combine heavier or a header lighter so the rear end doesn't lift off the ground when I pick it up. Okay, Brad's gonna test out. What he has done is he has moved the Z-axis in the XML, and that is your component center of mass. And then, okay, it'll give you in a 3D world you have to have 3 points to give you a specific placement in a 3D world. So that's on the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis. So his settings were 0x, 0.95y, and negative 0.2z. And what he's trying is he's moved the z-axis further back to 0.7, and we're going to see if that is enough adjustment to where when he picks a header up, it keeps the butt end on the rear end on the ground. So we'll find out here in a second. But another thing that people struggle with is with the dynamically loaded wheels, because now for the last, well, since FarmSim 15, Giants Editor started doing the dynamically loaded wheels on its equipment. And so you would open up an i3D and there wouldn't be any wheels on the equipment. You're like, where the hell's the wheels? Well, the wheels are dynamically loaded from the game files. So what that does is it saves file space in your mod. It's actually kind of handy, which I just did. I just did that with this Brent cart. So how you create wheels now is in through the XML, and that is through this section right here in this wheel configurations. And because you give it a store option to purchase, so this is the Brent cart with wheel configuration. The name of this particular wheel configuration is flotation singles. Price, nothing, because this is the default. This is what you get when you buy this cart. And then it has basically the same lines that a wheel would normally have as far as the well, you know, I never understood what this REPR, I guess it's reproduction or something, but you have a node address, so that's the location. Maybe that's something like revolution, because this makes it rotate. This node, it will rotate off of that node, the REPR. You have a friction scale, but with the in-game tires, you don't need the friction scale. There is a radius. You probably don't need that, but I put one in there just to be safe, because I wasn't sure if you needed one. But the one thing that these have that these don't is a file name path to the wheel. So it says file name. Now this is going to be in your farm sim game data files. So it'd be in your data, vehicles, wheels, Trelleborg, TM600 480 by 80 R42.xml. And then it goes on even further because there should be configuration file. Where am I not seeing it? I'm not seeing it. Where am I not seeing it? Oh, okay. Configuration index. It was the line below it. Configuration index is dual connector. So then it pulls the connector for this data here. Another index. But this is indexing it from this folder. The hub pulling this data from the game. This index from this folder. There's a scale section here. You can adjust the scale, but I would not recommend that. And then the offset will move it in and out of. You can offset it on the x-axis by adjusting this. So that's how you create wheels from nothing in the XML. But I mean, it's just basic review of it. So let's see. Looking through my mods folder and see if there was any projects that I still had outstanding. Some Kill Brothers wagons. I think those are pretty much done. I think I adjusted. Those still have the wheels. I guess I could probably do dynamically loaded wheels on those. But so this is the red one. Yeah. So we will unzip Kill Brothers cart. Red one. Brad replied, "It's a lot better. I think I might go a little more, otherwise it just slides around corners." Yeah. So when you pick the head up, now it doesn't pull the rear end off the ground. And it might be that the header is too heavy, to where you know, if somebody put in some ridiculous number of, you know, like a 30-ton header, you know, that just. But not really sure. You'd have to open up the header itself and then check that rigid body and see what they made the mass, see what the mass density is on that. Because if it was a mod, somebody might have been trying to be funny. That happens. So we got this Kill Brothers cart that I in the title I put _red because it's red. View. Oh, in something that you don't drive, you don't have to worry about it because you don't have a camera, you have a perspective. So you just don't ever get rid of that. So there's our cart. Create light. Did I just create a camera? I did. Okay, create light. And here we have our tires. We have our left and right wheel. Now we could we have a left axle and a right axle. Yep. We'll just go ahead and make these invisible for now. So I wanted to see how far those axles stick out. Probably actually, well, hang on a second. The X is 1.69. So that's, this origin is 1.699 from 0 this way to here. Oh, left axle. So if we shorten it up by 1.3, or that's probably too short, 1.5, it just stubbed it up. Which here, 6. 5, and that moved it in. It moved it in a total of 0.2 from where it was. So how we go about putting dynamically loaded tires on this is we want to create 2 transform groups. There. Right there. And those are going to become our wheels. So we want to take these and we want to hit edit, cut, and underneath the Kill Brothers we want to edit, paste. We'll just go ahead and reduce that up so we don't have to look at it so much. But we'll go ahead and move that up, move up, move up, move up, move up. Same with this one, we want to move it to the top. Move up, move up, move up, move up. Okay, so we have our left wheel node and our right wheel node. And what I'm interested in is these numbers right here, 1.6 and 0.8. So I want these transform groups to have these addresses in the 3D world. So 1.6 and 0.8, so we can go up here and we go 1.6 and 0.8, and so that takes it right to that axle. Same with the right wheel, same as negative 1.6 and 0.8, so we want to go to this negative 1.6 and 0.8. And let's see, left wheel, is there anything else? Nope, looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do right now is, just to err on the side of caution, I'm going to move these down to the bottom of the scene file right here underneath cart. That puts it at the bottom. Okay, so they're invisible, but they're still in the scene graph in case this goes sideways. So we're just going to go ahead and rename these left wheel, and we'll rename this one right wheel. So that's pretty much all you have to do with the i3D if everything pans out as far as where the origin of the wheels puts it at. But what I like to do, because flotation singles are a little bit different than duals, what I will probably do is I'll take this and I'll go edit, duplicate, right? And it just made another one. And I'll go left, edit, cut, and paste it under the wheel. And paste. But then on this one, I'm going to make the origins 0. Because now 0 is that. And so we're going to go edit, duplicate, and then edit, cut, edit, paste, and then make this origin 0, 0, because its new center of the universe is this. Brad asks, is there a way to go back to the ad strip? Yep, we can do that. So as far as this origin, now I have created these node origins for the wheels, and these are in place for the wheels that the XML will create and place. So we're just going to go and we're going to delete that stuff, and we're going to save this i3D file for now, and we'll just minimize it. Let's see, mods, and I'm going to rename this one underscore with wheel select, red underscore ws wheel select, just for the time being, so I remember what I was doing. Action can't be completed because the folder or file is open in another program. Okay, if you say so. Sometimes it don't like that, so I close that. Rename, wheel select. Okay, back to the ad strip. Okay. The Kill Brothers XML, open that up. So we have our wheel configurations for selecting wheels that were part of the i3D. But now we're going to do dynamically loaded wheels. And so then we can go into this Brent cart, which we've scripted. So we can go in here and highlight these. We can copy and go into Kill Brothers, and we can paste it right underneath the wheel configurations. Because in the XML you have the master section, which is wheel configurations, and then you have wheel configuration, da, 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 da. So these ones can be, what's the word, not deleted. I don't like deleting stuff out of XML until I know for sure that everything is fine. So how you can bypass this in the XML is you put 2 hyphens at the end, and you put whoops, undo. I guess I had that less than symbol highlighted. Exclamation point, hyphen, hyphen. And what that did is it takes this entire phrase out and bypasses it. So it effectively deletes it, but it's still there. So we will just take that back up here. Now in the Brent cart, I made the wheels, the rims, color selectable. So this section right here we want to add to this, and it will be below the wheel configuration section. Paste. So now the wheels, or the rims, become color selectable. Default color index 2, so that should be the off-white. Should be the default color. So if we hit save, then we have changed the Kill Brothers cart XML to now match the i3D. And the reason I changed the name of this is because I'm going to compare the cart with wheel select. I'm going to compare it to the cart without wheel select side by side. So go ahead and zip this back up. And we want to go cut. We go to mods, paste. And there we have Kill Brothers 1950 red wheel select zip. Okay. So we'll be able to test that in game. Brad says he's going to be making it from scratch, but I want making an ad strip from scratch. Well, means we got those loaded in the game. We'll go ahead and fire farm sim up and check her out. So we'll want to test the 2388, the C10, and the Kill Brothers red with wheel select. We'll probably just use, let's just use Goldcrest. And yeah, select all, so they're all in there. And I made it, well, I don't think I zipped up the 9770, so I can't test it yet. I was going to zip the 9770 and throw it back in, but I forgot to do that. So we will test the 2388, the Kill Brothers red grain cart, and the C10 Chevy. I'm trying to keep that straight in my head. Okay, start. And we got the money mod, so we gotta, yeah, fast forward some time. There we go. Give us some monies. Go to here. So we want the 2388. Rim color, that one. Front twin wheels. Trade on me flag, sure. grain cart. And that's a Brent. Okay, Kill Brothers. Better be this one. So that rim color. So it has defaulted this one. So we can go like that, and we'll buy both. Flotation single, yeah, and narrow twins. Okay. And what else? It was a Chevy pickup, C10. There it is. So we'll scroll around to, there we go. So there we have our ad strip on the side of the case. Whoa, what do we got going on there? But there it's got the ad strips on the side. And our truck has a toolbox. And our grain carts have dynamically loaded wheels. Now they are probably not exactly where we want them. Good night. I'll see you in the morning. So we can look at this and see that the wheels are probably a little bit too narrow for flotation singles, or they need to be moved in. So that's where you kind of got to go back and forth to get your node placements just right. Same with those row crop singles. They're probably out. Yeah, they are. They're out too far. But that's just a small adjustment. Shut that off. But yeah, the toolbox and the fuel trigger showed up on the pickup. When you're in the pickup, you can see it's got a refuel icon. That's because it's picking up its own refuel. So you'll never run out of fuel with this pickup. So there, we tested the dynamically loaded wheels, we tested the toolbox, and the ad strip on this 2388 did show up. 2588. So there it is. So just for testing sake, I will just go ahead and save that game, close it out, and okay. Brad asked, did I really just miss it? We were just testing out that grain cart wheel stuff and the toolbox showing up on the C10, the work that we did, that it did to it. and that the ad strip showed up on that case combine. But as far as making it from scratch, I guess I have a question. Do you mean making it from Blender or making it from an already existing ad strip? Yeah, you'll have to download Blender and all the what do you call it? Import export programs that go with it, or utilities. You have to download Blender and its utilities. And Blender is this little program. This is creating 3D objects. I can file, open recent. There's my hay buster. This is my hay grinder that I've been working on. I've got to get finished. And you can see I've already been texturing and adding ad strips to these. This is kind of in its final stages and before it goes into scripting. Down here is a fill volume. I don't know as if I'm actually ever going to need it, but when I get to that point to decide if I need it or not, it's there. Oh, where do you download Blender? Blender is out on the interwebs. I think it's blender.org. To do a previous. It's easier to do a previous ad strip, definitely. If you're building one from scratch in Blender, you have to know how to apply textures, and that's another tutorial all in itself. That can get pretty intense. It's like I can show you right here. I'm in edit mode. You go to object mode, edit mode. Okay. Right here. Oh, that's wrong mode. That is an ad strip right there. And then I place it on the front. But what I've done is I textured it transparent in Blender. And then I put its logo, its model number, and then some warning decals. So if I go to back to edit mode, here is that ad strip right here laid over top of this texture file, and that's where it's pulling that information from. As well as on the side, this hay buster logo and red and black stripe are for this ad strip. If I click on that, edit, oh, it picked up the body object. There we go. Okay, edit. There's the add strip laid over top of those textures to create that. So that's, you know, when I think of from scratch, that's what I'm thinking of, is you're starting in Blender and you're going to create a custom ad strip for something. One thing you can do is, where did we, here, the ad strip, when I exported that out, if I wanted to change, okay, so this is just the ad strips, the RDR and RDR. And see how those have already got textures on them. As long as I change this and then re-export it, I can make as many ad strips. I can make as many separate ad strips as I want to, as long as I save them in here first. I don't know if that makes any sense. So I could have a Dakota Farmer. Well, that's probably gonna confuse you. So, yeah, I guess I would just need to specifically know what it is you want to do. Okay, Jacob E has a question. Go ahead.
Daddy, can you give me a massage?
I'm on the.
Sorry.
I'll be in a little minute. On your edits of the John Deere Combine, did you forget to resize the augers? They just look really big to me. I thought those were part of. Where the hell did I put? No, I guess I closed it out. I thought I had. I thought those were part of like the main scale fix, but they might be separate. I never got back in to see if they were. They're underneath the scale fix, so they should have. But I don't remember when I added this grain pipe either. It's actually scaled down a little bit. So I imagine how big that would be if it wasn't scaled down. Yeah, it is. I noticed that after you mentioned that it looked big. God dang! I didn't go to the edit camera. Another way to fix that is just don't save it, and then reopen it. If you start moving around. Tubo Descargo. View camera, edit camera. I don't know what they're watching in the living room, but they are getting kind of noisy. So the problem with rescaling that now, I think, geez, that's going to distort. I may have to take this. I may have to take this into blender. Because see the way X and Y are in relation to this? If I change the Z-axis now, it's gonna draw it in on this. So it's gonna distort it this way. And I'll show you. Or we could just try and change everything to 1 and see what happens. 1, 1, 1. Geez, I don't know. That might have actually been okay. I gotta look at it closer and see if it distorted anything. Make that invisible so we can see it. That probably looks a little better. But what's strange is, no, I guess that's all right. Now some of those numbers are, you know, this is somebody else's original work. So I don't know why. I mean, that for the most part that auger looks round. It does have the little bump up here, but that's for that let's see, create light. Yeah, it was like way out here. So I mean, that was ridiculously long. It looks like that it's pointed down just a hair to me. Ah, going the wrong way. Maybe it'll... There we go. So that looks more... I'll just have to adjust this grain. You remember on Farm Sim 13 that combine was there and it had so many issues? Yeah. Okay, so Brad grabbed a decal and imported it to a trailer I use regularly. So will that work as an ad strip to make my own? Yes. Yes. Ty Tesmer. I don't know who Ty Tesmer is, but the one I started with was those guys from Brazil, and it was it didn't have a fill volume. All it had was like a tarp for and it had a different hopper. It had like, it looked like a Mar grain extension, and but it wasn't. It was like the John Deere version of the grain extension. So I took that off in Blender, and then I put the Maurer on. Then I had to build a fill volume. This still has the photo realistic textures. Yeah, it was like a big yellow tarp, and but there was no fill volume underneath it, so you couldn't see any grain. And I always figure, well, shit, if you're going to drive a combine, you better be able to see your grain in your hopper. Yeah, I think that length of pipe would be alright. I just got to make sure that are all the discharge nodes all attached to that grain pipe, and it looks like they are. There's a pipe raycast node, smoke 2 particle system, Yeah, they look like they're all there. Pipe effect. So then these are just the smoke has disappeared, visible. With the pipe effect, I'll have to adjust a little bit because I think like that. Whoa. That rotation sometimes can be a pain. Looks like they could go back just a bit further. The grain particles. Yeah. Dang, that's not, what the heck is doing that for? It must be sometimes when you get these weird scale, then that scaling will throw off things down here. Oh, look at that, like everything's 0.8 on that. Oh, and then there you got 1.5. Oh, just the pipe end is scaled 0.7. Then you get to the particles. Oh, you're kidding me. Come on, work with me here. The undo button is your best friend. And see, that's even, I think we might have to scale it on the X 0.8. I'd like to get it to rotate this way a little bit. So let's try minus 48. Nope. So minus 52. 55. 7. There you go. Okay. Particles thicker. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah, you just change them on the, so the yellow should be the y-axis. So go 1.2, 3, 5, 7, 9. Well, that's probably a little too big. 8. 8. And then just go try 59. I think that's in line with that pipe now, that rubber deflector. So I could try that, see how that looks. Yeah. Well, you know, that's what I thought in Farm Sim. I think it was Farm Sim 13. I thought they had the animations pretty decent as far as grain unloading, and I don't know why all of a sudden it changed. But I think that was probably some mods, you know, like the New Holland 10.9 combine mod. I think they had a pretty good pipe animation, but evidently that was, you know, specific to individual mods. So we'll go with 0.8 and 1.8. Let me just quick go around it. Looks like it's in line with the pipe. Looks good from this side. It's not sticking through or anything. And we just need to make the smoke visible so that I don't think it makes any difference. I think it'll still generate the smoke if it's visible or not, but I always worry that it won't. So I'm kind of surprised there isn't any smoke down here. Maybe it's... We got the exhaust particles. Straw effect. Emitter smoke. Yeah, I guess it's all there. Yepper. Okay, what do I use to edit the decal? Okay. So let me quick view camera, make sure I'm in the edit camera. We'll get rid of this. Get rid of that. We'll go ahead and save it. And then I'm going to just minimize it for now. I'll zip it back up later. To edit the decal, you can use paint.net. And what? Let's see. I know where this one is, so it's in the 2388 file, RDR trucking. Let me go out on the interwebs, and I'll get an image of like a farm logo. And we have all these different company logos. So you could have like this, and then you could put your own name underneath, or... Well, that was kind of cool. Milford and Sons. Jacob asked if I'm planning on doing the side panels on the deer. Yeah, I've had it in Blender, and I've got so many different projects. I got to finish that hay buster. I just get burned out in there. Deer Run Farm, that's kind of cool. This one's neat. Oliver Kelly Farm. On the Haybuster, I had it open here. It's actually still in Blender. File, open recent Haybuster. That's 100% scratch built by me. H1130 Haybuster. Tub grinder. Kind of the idea behind it was I was gonna be able to put grass bales in it and get hay out of it, so you wouldn't have to ted your grass fields. But from what I'm finding in other mods is I'm gonna have to have somebody or myself write a custom Lua for it to do that. But I got some friends who have friends who know how to write Luas, so I might be utilizing their friendships. Put them to work for me. None of them was really jumping out at me. Let's go back up here. 2. Custom harvesting logo. Oh, that one's cool right there, right off the bat. Oh, yeah, that's cool. This one's neat. Can custom harvest? I like this one right here, JKD Harvesting, Colby, Kansas. So we'll just go ahead and you'll want to click on it to see the original the original picture. So if you just pick it out of, and then we can go here and we can copy image. And when we go into paint.net, oh really? 80 miles? Huh. File, open recent, and we should have that one right there. We can edit, select all, and delete, and edit, paste our new one. Expand canvas or keep canvas size. Well, like I said, with the ad strip, you want to keep the canvas size. And we'll just have to scrunch her down like a so. Just a hair, and we'll just recenter it. Whoop. There we go. Okay. So we'll file, save as, and we'll just put a 2, save as. Now we'll go in here to our ad strip. Now in the material editing section, and if your material editing window is not open, how you do that is with window, and you select it right here with material editing. Your attributes are listed in here as well, so if your attributes section is not open, you can click it here, and your material editing here. So to change that ad strip to a different diffuse, go like that. It takes us to the file that it's located in, which is mods 2388 texturas, and we can select RD Trucking 2. And yep, that's what we want. And ta-da! Oh, and we've already screwed it up. We gotta raise it up. When you go back to paint. So evidently, our ad strip does not use this entire so we just scrunch it in a little bit, like that, and hit file, save again. File, save, minimize, and we'll reload. There we go. Now it's a little, no, I guess it's all got it all there. So there is a new ad strip decal. But the funny thing about ad strips is because they share textures, like this ad strip and this ad strip on the other side share this texture. If we spin around the other side, it's going to be this. See how that changed? There's 2 ad strips on this scene graph, but they're only visible from one direction. That's the thing about ad strips, is they can only be seen from one direction. They can't be seen from the back. Another thing about ad strips that you have to have is the alpha blending. If you don't have alpha blending selected, it will appear solid. So let's just go ahead and click on that. Well, that is, it'll appear solid in the game, so it'll just be black. So then a person can take that ad strip and you can put it on anything. You can put it on trailers, trucks, what do I save it as when I found one? Giants Editor likes DDS files. Let's see, file, save as, that. Now in this little window, the save configuration, this is actually kind of important. This little drop down right here, this DXT3, depending on, yeah, see right here it says DXT1 opaque 1-bit alpha. Opaque meaning there's no transparency to it. If this is the default, this will show up black. The background will be black. It won't be transparent. So you'll want to select DXT3 or DXT5, but 3 works. So you want to just make sure that's DXT3 in paint.net. And you want to save it as a DDS file. And so if you downloaded it as if it was a PNG, you can save it as a DDS. It'll just be file, save as, and then down here in the drop down it should give you a selection of DDS, PNG, JPEG, BMP, and just use DDS because DDS works well with Giants. Oh, when you get it from Google, you could just put it in your documents or put it in your pictures. Yeah, it really, or if you know the file address to the mod that it's going to go to, you can put it directly in there. So like what I did is I just copy pasted it off the internet. Yeah, I just right clicked on it and then hit copy image, and then I just went right into Paint and pasted it. Huh. You guys even have an online application. I always thought that was kind of a neat looking logo. Okay. Go back to that's cool. Burke Farms and Harvesting looks like must be cotton, corn, and wheat. That one's neat too. Yeah, I use paint.net because it's free. There's also a program called GIMP, but I have it, but I don't really use it. I guess I started using paint.net, and it's more user friendly as far as using it. That one's cool with the chopper on it. Peterson Custom Farming. That one's neat. Oh, that's Warren Paint. Let's see. Oh, that's weird. There's the download page. Getpaint.net. Oh, it's paint. Yeah. So it's the second one down. And let's see. Download. I don't think it's that one. Right here. So for Windows 10 or for this one. Right there. Paint.net. And then there you go. Paint.net 4.019. Right there. I don't need it, I already have it, so I'll cancel that. Yeah, it's the second one down. I should actually save that address. Let's see. Copy. Go here. Edit video. Oh, I forgot to change all this stuff. Paste. Let's see, in Blender, yeah, blender.org. Excuse me. Paste and Giants Develop. I think it's GDN.com, I think. Yep. Copy. Right there. Save. That's pretty cool. Huh. Back. Be sure to check out the Misfit Toyz Lab store for your Misfit Toyz Lab gear. You can get coffee cups, stickers, and t-shirts. Just saying. Let's take a look at them. Be the first kid on the block to have a Misfit Toyz Lab t-shirt, hoodie, sticker, coffee cup, because Hermie doesn't like making toys. Sticker. That's the back. That's the front. They also have Misfit Trucking with the cowboy riding ostrich. Cowboy up. I know, pretty shameless plug for my t-shirt sales, but I'm trying to save up money for upgrading my computer, and the wife said I can't spend any money, so I was like, well, I gotta raise money somehow. And I'm not selling anything out of the garage, so I need all that stuff. Cool. Right on. Yeah, I haven't ordered a t-shirt yet. I was thinking about ordering a t-shirt. For myself. There's so many logos to choose from. That's the bad part, is like, oh, they're all kind of cool, you know? Get me on Facebook. All right. I got a Misfit Toyz Facebook page too. If you just search that. Ooh, that one's cool. With the combine picture. That's nice. I like that. And see, then you can just go ahead and, like, in paint.net, select the marrer, and you like delete that out and then put your own name. Oh, their logo's kind of small here. Ipswich where? Oh, South Dakota. Huh. I know where Ipswich is. It was actually this was actually a larger, so copy image, and we go to paint.net, and we go edit, paste, keep canvas size. just want to cover up that. Like so, and then we can zoom in. Oh, she's pretty digitized. Dang it. Yeah, that sucks. It got distorted when I... Well, that would look like crap. This is... It was because of the pixel size. So... I'm not sure. It was just too big of a picture to start with, I guess. Because hell, it was way out like this. Huh. I'll have to find a different one. That's pretty cool looking. There we go. Wow, that was from 3 years ago. Crap. Oh crap. I was looking at the wrong thing. Okay. If you want to edit the words on the image. Okay, so let's go back to... It would be kind of hard on this JKD harvesting to do that, but to do it on this would be fairly simple. You can either use the little magic wand and you can select each letter and delete them, or you can use this box and say, like, I want to get rid of Dakota. You can select Dakota and just hit delete and it takes it out. Then you can put in your own words. I actually have a Misfit font. Misfit. And oh, too big. Something like that. It's but then you would have to come back in and you could use your pencil or your pen, paintbrush, and you fill it in. This little color picker, if you go here, you can pick that color green. See how it changed that? And then you can go to the paint and you can color in behind it. You just fill that in, fill that in, fill that in. Or do something like that. Color wand that. Green. Magic wand that. And then paint bucket. just have to do the rest. Do the rest by hand here. Edit, deselect. But that's kind of a rough idea of how you do it. That kind of looks like shit. Yeah, that's where selecting the right logo, one that looks like you can manipulate it, that's sometimes important too. So let's say like this Mar one would probably be okay to change. This Burke one would definitely be easy because you got the individual letters that are so you could have like with your name HINES, right? And then so you just have to go in here and magic wand select the B, select the R, select the K, select the E, delete them, get rid of them, and then you just come in and you place an H, an NES.